through 300 years of history and look for all the black people that fit the description you just said.
Malcolm-Jamal Warner, dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family.
But hold on, are we really just gonna accept what they're telling us? Because Katt Williams, he's not buying it, and honestly, neither should you. The man just dropped something about Malcolm's death that flips this whole thing upside down. This wasn't just a tragic beach accident, y'all. It's looking more and more like a straight-up setup, like someone wanted Malcolm quiet, permanently. Whether he knew too much or was just done playing by Hollywood's twisted rules, something feels off. And Katt? Oh, he said it loud. What he said might explain why Malcolm wasn't meant to leave Costa Rica alive. And once you hear it, whew, you'll never look at this the same way again.
It's the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time.
This ain't just a story about a drowning, it's about a man who lived with purpose, who refused to play the game, and guess what? They didn't start loving him until he was gone and couldn't feel a thing. Let's dive into it because what's happening here is downright chilling.
If I die tomorrow, I know I would go with a smile on my face.
Let's keep it real from the jump. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, he wasn't some washed-up childhood star collecting nostalgia checks. He was the heart and soul of The Cosby Show. The young black man who didn't have to be angry or broken to be seen. He was smart, poised, focused, and he stayed that way even after the spotlight dimmed. As a kid, he had big dreams, just like anybody. He wanted to grow, evolve, and keep building on the success he had earned. He wanted longevity, not just fame. But Hollywood, it had other plans.
How long do you hope this goes on?
For a long time.
Now here's where things take a dark turn. This wasn't just a tragic accident. This was a gut punch, a loss that hit deep, not just because of how he died, but because of who he was. It was July 20th, 2025. Malcolm was in Costa Rica vacationing with his family, just a dad trying to make memories with his little girl. They were at Playa Grande, a gorgeous beach near the town of Limon, but also a deadly one. That beach is infamous for rough waters and powerful rip currents. And on that day, no lifeguards, not one, just a few weak signs saying don't swim.
These are the first things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions.
Around 2 p.m., Malcolm and a friend went into the water. His 8-year-old daughter, she stayed on the shore. Let that sink in. Early reports tried to spin this like he was saving her, but no, she never entered the water. They got swept up by a violent rip current almost instantly. His friend managed to make it out. Malcolm didn't. People on the beach, surfers, even random bystanders, they rushed in. One surfer stayed with his daughter to protect her. The others tried desperately to reach Malcolm.
There in the water on the surfboard. And when he didn't respond to that, my friend rapidly took him into the beach and they immediately began CPR.
They pulled him from the water, unconscious. CPR was performed. Medics tried a defibrillator. They worked for nearly 45 minutes, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead right there on the beach. Official cause? Drowning. Accidental. But let's be honest, this was preventable. No lifeguards, no support, a beloved actor dead in front of his child. And the worst part? Malcolm wasn't just some celebrity on a wild getaway. He was doing what real dads do, spending quality time with his daughter, shielding her from the chaos of fame, the mess of Hollywood.
Keep them and their identity private. I want people to know that it is possible to be happy and to have love.
And that right there is the kind of man Malcolm was. While other celebs flaunt their kids for followers and paparazzi points, Malcolm kept his daughter private. No reality shows, no TMZ, no clout chasing. That trip, it was supposed to be beautiful, just memories between father and daughter, but it turned into a nightmare. And let's be real, he died still grinding, still trying to make space in an industry that loves to chew up black men and spit them out when they're no longer viral. His net worth? Around $6 million. Sounds okay, right? But for someone who helped shape black culture and history on TV, that's disrespectful. That's crumbs. And just like Katt Williams said, if you're a black man in Hollywood and you don't play the game, you get shut out. Malcolm never co-signed the madness. He didn't entertain the degrading roles. And for that, they locked him out. Katt's been telling us for years about how they test you, how they try to break you. He talked about those shady rooms, those secret auditions, and the price of keeping your dignity. People laughed at him, called him crazy. But who's laughing now? Everything he said is playing out before our eyes.
For years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
He's not the only one. Tyler James Williams has said it too, how hard it is to be seen for your talent when you start young. Terrence Howard spoke out about getting paid less even when he was carrying entire shows. Orlando Jones, he said it plainly. If you speak up, if you stand proud, the money stops flowing. And Malcolm, he never sold out.
And
and unencumbered by a company who was financing my art.
Right.
So there aren't higher ups that I have to listen to.
He didn't put on a dress to get laughs. He didn't pander to trends. He stayed true, raising his daughter in peace, staying grounded. He was a king, but not one the industry knew how to handle. And now that he's gone, suddenly everyone's screaming, legend, icon. But back when he needed opportunities, silence. He didn't fit their narrative. They couldn't use him for scandal, so they ignored his substance. And let's be honest, this new wave of entertainers, a lot of them have sold their character, not just their contracts. Look around. Grown men acting like fools for clout, rapping about death like it's a status symbol, flexing rented money and calling it king energy. Please, this is the kind of chaos the industry loves. Controlled foolishness wrapped up as culture. And behind all that glitz, they're not in charge of anything. Puppets on strings, but shiny ones, so nobody questions it. Meanwhile, real ones like Malcolm get thrown to the sidelines. Katt's been trying to warn us. He said it loud. This machine punishes authenticity. He told us about being pushed out while less talented, compliant comedians got the gigs he earned. And it's the same with Malcolm. He didn't need to shout. His actions spoke louder. From a young age, growing up in Jersey City, raised by his mother Pamela, who also managed his career, he was focused. He was just 14 when he landed Theo on The Cosby Show. And unlike so many young stars, he didn't spiral, he didn't chase scandals, he didn't fall into traps. He studied, he worked, he built himself up with discipline. That's why as an adult, Malcolm became incredibly intentional about how he moved. He didn't just want to be remembered as an actor, he wanted to be remembered as a man of integrity, of purpose. He wanted his life to mean something. And you know what? It did. But the world didn't care until it was too late. He said in interviews that he was never about the fame. He was about telling stories that mattered, stories that uplifted. That's why he turned down so many of those stereotypical roles. Yeah, those same roles that would have made him more famous, more rich, but also more empty. And you know what's wild? When the whole Bill Cosby scandal blew up, Malcolm didn't run to the cameras. He didn't exploit it. He didn't go on some tell-all tour. He stood on truth. He said, I don't condone it, but I'm not here to throw stones either. That's class, that's grace, that's real man energy. And let's talk about his artistry. He wasn't just an actor, he was a poet, a musician. His work with Robert Glasper, Grammy-winning, spoken word, jazz, not clout rap, not drill music designed to numb us. He was pushing boundaries, using his voice to shift the narrative. His podcast, Not All Hood, a full-on rejection of the boxes they try to put black men in. Malcolm was loud without being loud. He was dangerous to the machine because he wasn't playing their game. And guess what? Because he wasn't loud, messy, or scandalous, he got ignored. No mugshots, no cheating scandals, no viral meltdowns, just a man loving his daughter, making real art, and trying to uplift his people. But let him die, and suddenly everyone's a fan. Now they want to call him a legend. Now they want to cry on camera and do tribute reels. Streaming services rushing to push out memorial collections. Actors who hadn't spoken his name in years suddenly writing paragraphs on Instagram. Please, where was that love when he needed funding for his podcast? Where were the studios when he was pitching real stories with meaning? Where were the big roles when he was still healthy, working, and hungry? He got buried by the industry long before that ocean ever did. Now they want to profit off his memory. It's the same formula. Let the real ones die, then sanitize them, package them, sell them. And this ain't new. They did it with Dave Chappelle too. When he walked away from that $50 million Comedy Central deal, what did they say? That he lost it, that he was crazy, that he was on something. But why did Dave leave? Because he said he didn't feel right about white people laughing at black pain. He saw his own show turning into a minstrel act. He said no, and they tried to destroy him. Sound familiar? And that's the game. The second you say this doesn't feel right, they erase you, just like they did with Katt, just like they did with Malcolm. They don't want truth, they want puppets. If you're not willing to play the clown or be the safe version of black, they throw you out. They blackball you. And when you're gone, oh, then they want to cry and honor your memory like they didn't have a hand in your erasure. Malcolm's death exposed that, because here was a man who did everything right. He worked hard, he stayed grounded, he raised his daughter with love and intention. He kept his private life sacred, and they still treated him like he was invisible. Now they want to act like they lost royalty? Nah, they ignored royalty. And now that he's gone, they're trying to rebrand his legacy like it was all love from the start. Meanwhile, he was still pitching ideas, still waiting for green lights, still getting overlooked. How many times we gotta watch this cycle repeat? Nipsey Hussle was preaching ownership and community, ignored until he was gunned down. Then they said he was a genius. Chadwick Boseman stayed silent while battling cancer, gave us regal, powerful roles, treated like a god after he was in the ground. Lisa Left Eye Lopes, Phife Dawg, even Michael Jackson, laughed at, mocked, disrespected until the obituaries rolled in. Why did they only start listening once you stop breathing? Malcolm wasn't chasing clicks. He wasn't out here causing drama. He was writing poetry, directing indie films, speaking out against toxic rap culture. He said music had turned into a weapon used against us, to keep us numb, angry, and distracted, and nobody wanted to hear it. But if he was out here with a drug problem problem and paparazzi drama, there'd be 12 documentaries already. That's just facts. So yeah, this could be the end. Because as loud as the tributes are right now, you know how this goes. One week it's rest in power, and next week it's back to fake reality shows and soulless celebrity gossip. And don't even think all these tributes are genuine. Most of them, industry PR, wrote by assistants, hollow captions, pretty graphics, but not a drop of real grief. So ask yourself, will Malcolm's legacy really be preserved? Or will it just become another hashtag the industry uses to look deep? Now that he's gone, will they actually listen to what he stood for, or will they use his death to sell more content pretending like they ever cared? That's the real tragedy. They ignored him in life. They profit from him in death. And if we don't wake up and protect our real ones while they're here, we're just letting the machine win.